So we've looked at how we review duplicate records. Now we're going to look at how we're actually finding those duplicate records, and how we do that is by creating a match session. So what we'll do is we'll go up here to the Create Session screen, and you can see that there's 1 to 5 steps here on how we're defining our match criteria to return those duplicates. So first we need to name the session, so test session. Where do we want to go and match? So is it just a single entity? Is it we want to go and look in our account, contact, or lead entity? Or do we want to look across entities to say, I've got leads and I want to compare them to my contacts, or I've got leads and I want to compare them to my accounts, so that you can manage duplicate leads that might be flowing into your system. So today we'll look at the single entity, and we will select account, but we can apply this for contacts as well. We can subset our data for region or for any other reason. We'll just use all records for now, and we'll choose our matching language. So we have the ability to match in English, French, German, Italian, and Spanish. We'll just go with English for now. So that session is set up now, and what we're going to do is now run into our matching criteria. And if I expand these groups, you'll be able to see this is where we're defining what attributes we want to use for our matching purposes. So in accounts, typically we're using the account name, typically we're using address blocks, we might be using some sort of relationship type, postcode, websites, and really that can be customized to fit your criteria. So say we wanted to use website as well as a criteria for matching, we could say, okay, let's go and make a folder, DQ website, yes. And now what we'll do is we'll go and search in these attributes on the left-hand side. We can drag and drop this in. And now we're going to be using website as a criteria for matching. I'll close that down. You can see there's a whole set of other fields that we might want to use, and any custom attributes that have been made in your CRM will be loaded in here, ready to be used for matching. We can now define whether we want to use attribute groups for matching. So do we want to use postcode? Maybe we want to use just the account name to match. But actually what we're going to do is return all of this other data from these attributes and use that for matching purposes. So we might have 10 Microsofts returned because we're matching on account name. But actually, when we interrogate the data to score, we're actually seeing that they're all at different postcodes, they're all at different address elements, and also, therefore, they're not duplicate records at all. So really, there's a lot of power in being able to group records, but then analyze them to see whether they are legitimate duplicates. And that's how we're scoring here with the ability we're saying we don't want to use this for matching, but we still want to include it in a scoring criteria. So when we go next, we can go now onto data transformations, and we can now define from a set of rules that we've built up over a number of years how we want to transform data purely for the purpose of matching. So on our account names, we're going to apply a transformation, and this is coming here from the left-hand side, and these are all pre-built transformations that you get out of the box. And in that, when you pull across the transform words, we have a set of parameters. So when we transform something, do we want to abbreviate it, which means bring it from limited to LTD, maybe? Do we want to elaborate? Do we want to make LTD go to limited? Do we want to exclude it, so take it away completely? Or do we want to normalize it, bring it down to a standardized form? If we leave this on exclude for now, we have those 4 different methods. There's also different categories that we can look at. So I was talking about business categories there. However, you could apply that to addressing as well. So say we applied the addressing here, If we wanted to abbreviate addressing, you would take street, S-T-R-E-E-T, and abbreviating it would bring it down to S-T. Elaborating it would flip that and do the opposite. Exclude would take away. Normalize would bring down to a normalized form. And there's a whole set of other categories here, countries, names, qualifications, salutations, etc. So a real wealth of transformations here that can be applied to your data sets. For this one, we're going to use business, and we'll apply that. And you'll see the power in this in a minute is when I use this test harness, where you can say, okay, I want to apply Microsoft Limited, and we've asked it to exclude the business. So what you can see here is we've got Microsoft has had the limited part stripped off of that. If we change this to limited, again, because it's longhand and we've asked it to exclude, that will also remove the limited section of this string. We could even say I want to remove characters. So maybe I want to remove numbers. So if I had Microsoft and I had Microsoft Limited 1, 2, 3. Again, that would remove the 1, 2, 3, and we would generate the same token. So there's a whole set of other transformations. I won't go through them right now, but there is a wiki if anyone would like to see more information on these. The second part we're applying here on this step is the match key. So match key is used for fuzzy logic. So we've developed our own phonetic matching algorithm called DQ Phonetics, which gives us the ability to generate a match key token and therefore increase the number of matches that you're finding from the data within your CRM. So the best example here is if I was to type in Xerox correctly, you would see that we would generate the token YQA. If I type in Xerox, spelled phonetically, and with maybe a business extension and also a number, you'll see they'll get taken off. And this Xerox here will also generate the same phonetic token YQA that we can then use for matching to group accounts with the same account name. And this is applied to address elements, this is applied to websites, any field within CRM. We can apply this matching algorithm so that we're increasing the number of duplicates that we're finding to return to you and your users. So we'll move on next. We'll go to how we're scoring. And this is basically saying, how confident am I with the results that I want to return? If I'm going up to 100%, I'm saying all my matching criteria has to be met and everything needs to be exactly the same. Or do I want to slacken that off and take it down to 90%? And this will therefore return results where maybe some of the matching criteria hasn't been met, such as a telephone number maybe isn't the same, or the account number is slightly different. So this is the level of certainty that we want to return duplicates to the users. And this plays quite heavily into whether we're automating processes or whether we're bringing back records and we're going to manually review them. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in the automation videos. So we'll go next. And what we're able to do here on this final screen is customize the display screen and pull in attributes that we might want to see when we're reviewing duplicate records and analyzing them before we're ready to merge. So we've got obviously the account name here, we've got phone numbers in, we might want to pull email attributes in, and if I do that here, I can select DQ email, we'll add this, and now I can go and look for the email addresses, pull this in, email address 2 and email address 3. Go in, email address 3, and then they will be displayed in this folder. And if we want, we can reorder those. Here are the automation rules. Again, I'll speak about those in another video. But this screen at the moment is purely for displaying different attributes before we can then start our session. Once we do that, start the session. That then kicks off the matching process, feeds the data to our matching engine. We run through the same here. We feed the records, we match the records, and then we return records ready for review. And this is all done incredibly quickly. I don't want to search, let's refresh. And we've already fed here 1,000 records to our match engine. And really, this is taking 3,000 records, took less than a minute, 17 seconds in the last run. So that's how we create a match session, ready to return duplicate records to yourself and users, ready for review.